righty. We are on 224. There is more than one way to do all of these. I'm going to do what I find to be the easiest way. You can choose to follow that or not. Whatever. Everything here is out of 2. G is pretty tricky. Making that whole first page out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Any questions about it? If you used a different form, then you should be able to figure it out just by getting rid of the brackets. All right, no questions, I move on. 2 perpendicular lines intersect on the y-axis. That means they share what? Sukman, move into the middle desk, please. Don't worry, Kevin will be moving soon too, because he'll start talking to Jazz. He won't be moving by you, though, so I got lots of desks around. Desks. And you can stay there for the rest of the week. No, one over. Yeah. Two perpendicular lines intersect on the y-axis. What do you know about that? You know that the slopes are opposite and reciprocated. What else do you know? The two lines share something. What? A y-intercept. So if this is line 1, y equals 2x plus 8. So the y-intercept is 8, which means the other line, line 2, the slope equals negative 1/2, and the y-intercept equals 8. So the other line must be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 8. 2 marks. The intersection of two perpendicular lines, again, there's that word perpendicular, is negative 1 and negative 4. So you know that point is on both lines. Line 1 is right here. 2x plus y plus 6 equals 0, which means y equals negative 2x minus 6. That is one of the lines. The perpendicular line, line 2, the slope of line 2 must be positive 1/2, and it goes through the point -1, -4. Now you have a slope and a point, so it is y plus 1 equals 1/2 x plus 4. Yes, did I do something wrong?
Yeah, y plus
Where?
4 is right. Y plus 4 equal, because...
Oh, right. Thank you, Wong. It's y plus 4 and x plus 1. Phew! Thank you, Wong. Case of the Mondays. That is 2 worth 2. Also worth 2. TOO worth TWO. 3 lines, 1 mark each. Slope, the red one will be A through -3, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, with a slope of 2/5. It's positive, so I can rise 2 and run 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I should drop 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run 5, making this nice line. Green will be B, parallel to part A, but it goes through -2, -1. So it keeps the same slope, up 2, over 5. There's B. And C, perpendicular to A, it goes through -2, -1, and it's perpendicular, so it's -5 over 2. Come on, come on, come on, come on. These are worth 1 each, by the way, while we wait. Goes through like that. If it looks something like that, you're probably good enough. 2, 4, and 3 is 7 on that page. Multiple choice. What graph represents that one? What do you know from that form? That form gives you 2 pieces of information. What 2 pieces? The slope and the y-intercept. The y-intercept is what? 6, so it can't be A, it can't be C, and the slope is negative, so it can't be B, so without even thinking, you know it's D. These are all worth 1, obviously. Rewrite this in general form. General form is AX plus BY plus C equals 0. What is different between that and that? No fractions, everything on one side. So I like to go 1/4 x, because he's already positive, minus y plus 2 equals 0. Not allowed to have that, so I multiply everything by what? 4 to get x minus 4y plus 8 equals 0, which is D. I want the slope-intercept form of the line that goes through there and is parallel to that line. So, to do slope-intercept form, I need a slope. How do I find the slope? Well, it is parallel to this. So I better find that slope. That slope is 2 over -8. Right? Because 0 minus minus 2 is 2, 1 minus 9 is -8, so that slope is -1/4. Once I have the slope, y equals -1/4 x plus b, I can do one of 2 things. I can take this x and y and put them in here and find b, or I can use that x and y in point-slope form and manipulate point-slope form back to this. I don't care which way you do things. I'm going to use this. 10 equals -1/4 times 8 plus b. 1/4 of 8 is -2. 10 equals -2 plus b plus 2. 12 equals b. C. I need to know what K is. It is perpendicular to this. This line, you need its slope. I would go from there to there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 5, negative 4. I need the perpendicular line, so it is 5/4. And then I need the K, which is K plus 4, not plus, you dummy, K minus 14 over 27 minus 12, which is 15. 75 equals 4K minus 56. Plus 56 is 125, 131, I think. Yep, equals 4K. Then I divide by 4, and K equals, what does K equal? 3. Pardon me? Sure. 32 3/4. Thank you. Sounds right to me. Oh, to the nearest integer. So what would it be? What's the nearest whole number to 32 3/4? Assuming I did it right. I need perpendicular, a line through there, perpendicular to that. Got the slope. Oh, Mr. Myers. I forgot to flip it. 4/5. There we go. That's better. 60 equals 5K minus 70. There we go. So the 70 goes over there. 130 equals 5K. K equals 5 goes into that twice, 26. That's better. Still only worth 1 because you only had to do 1. Oh, no, that should be worth 2 because you had to do 2 things. What is the slope of that? 7y equals negative 4x. Y equals negative 4/7 x. B. That's it for that page, right? So that's, what's it out of? 2, 3, 4. Was there one at the top? No. That page out of 3. And that's it. 3 and 1, 2, 3 is 6, and 7 is 13, and 16 is 29. I'll come and get that mark over the next day or two. What else did we have to do? We already talked about page 231, if I'm not mistaken. But just to be safe, did anybody want to ask anything about page 231? Everybody should be able by now to graph lines. If you're not able to graph lines, I don't know what to do for you. You need to come and see me, or you need to go and see somebody else, because I'm not working for you. If you could all turn to page 232, please. Now, remember how when we were talking about using graphing to solve, it worked every time when we were doing a lesson until that 1 or 2 times when the lines crossed. That's 1, 1. Right? We sometimes had lines crossing in the middle there, didn't we? And that made graphing kind of useless, right? Unless it crosses perfectly, graphing doesn't work very well. So there are 2 other methods to solve these. They both require algebra. Now, I've been teaching math now for 20 years. Every year I alternate the order I teach these in. And every year, no matter what I do, the kids the next year say they would have liked it in the other order. Do you know understand what I'm saying? There's two other ways to do it. One is called substitution, one is called elimination. If I teach substitution first, every kid says, why didn't you teach elimination first? It's way easier. So the next year I taught elimination first, then every kid said, why don't you teach substitution first? It's way easier. If you don't get this one, the next one you'll probably be able to do. Okay? All right. All the instructions are right there. Have a read of them and see if there's any one of those instructions that you're unsure of what it means. Because it really is as easy as it says there. So have a quick read through it and see if there's any words in there that are causing you any grief. Is everybody happy with all those words? Everybody, they all make sense, yeah? But like Lego makes sense too, right? But you're not necessarily building New York City out of Lego. Although at Legoland, New York City has been built out of Lego if you find yourself in Legoland. I don't recommend any of you going to Legoland because it's really for little kids. The roller coasters are lame and the lineups are big. It's better for little kids. But whatever. I do recommend, however, you check out the new roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm. It's called Hang Time. It could be the greatest thing ever created by humankind. But I'm not sure yet because I haven't ridden it. I only saw a video of it.
I think this might be one of your classes.
Oh. You brought him in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's worth plenty on Craigslist. Okay. So, step 1. Choose one equation and solve for one variable. Okay, so what does that mean? Everybody knows how to choose an equation, right? There's 2 of them there. You decide one of them to work with. What does it mean to solve for one variable? What does solve mean in algebra? He waited patiently. Pardon? To find something. Excellent. What would we be finding when I have 2 unknowns? I need to find one of the unknowns. But it's still going to be unknown, isn't it? Because I have 2 unknowns. So solve means isolate. So in black, I am going to do that right now. Which of those equations has a variable, an unknown, that it would be really easy to isolate? Would it be equation 1 or equation 2? It would be equation 1. Excellent. So in black, I am going to do the first step. I have chosen equation 1. X minus 4y equals negative 1. Agreed? How can I isolate one of those variables? And more importantly, which variable should I be trying to isolate? William, you're going to isolate the 4y? Okay, I can do that, but if I do that, then I have to do 2 steps, don't I? I have to move the x, and then I would have to divide by 4, correct? Okay, now, do you like to do more or less work? Less. So what if I move the 4y? Then is x by itself? And that only took 1 step, correct? Now, you can do what you wanted to do. It doesn't matter. And that's really important for me to say that to everyone. You're going to see these done the way I would do them, right? Because I've set them all up for there to be a better way. But later on, when you're doing your own work, it might not matter. So you can do whichever way you see fit. Does everybody understand? So William agrees now that if I can move the 4y and then I only do one step and I'm happy, right? What happens to that 4y when it comes over the equal sign? It becomes positive. So I'm going to have x by itself, and that's going to equal positive 4y minus 1. Is everybody good with that? All right. Step 2 I'm going to do in red. Take the new equation. Where is the new equation? It's right there, isn't it? Because that equation doesn't exist over here, does it? So that's my new equation. And substitute it into the other equation. Now this is where it gets weird. What does this say in English? Read that to yourself in your head or out loud, I don't care. What does that say? Not something. X equals 4y minus 1, doesn't it? Everyone agrees that that's what that says, yes? What do you see right there? An x. What does x equal? 4y minus 1. So 3x is 4y minus 1 plus 5y equals 31. Now, what was wrong with this? Why couldn't we just start solving that? There's x and y. There's two unknowns. So we can't solve it. But what has happened now? There's only one unknown, isn't there? So now we do algebra here. We've substituted it in. Now I'm going to blue to solve for the remaining variable. Now the remaining variable is just the other one. It might be X, it might be Y, it might be M, it might be N, it might be Q, it might be lightning bolt. You don't know. Whatever you didn't use there, you're fixing here. Now, how do I solve that? What about that do you not like? Don't like the 3 outside the brackets, but fortunately we did unit 4 and know how to deal with that. That is 12y minus 3 plus 5y equals 31. Because I distributed. Now what? 12 y's and 5 more y's is 17 y's minus 3 equals 31. Now what? Move the 3 over. 17y equals 34. Now what? Divide by 17 and y equals what? 2. So now I know y equals 2. What is the last step? Plug your solution into one of the original equations. Now right here, I don't know x, do I? Because y equals 2. But if y equals 2, what do you see right there? A y. So what goes there? 2. So x equals 4 times what? 2 minus 1. What is 4 times 2 minus 1? 7. So now do I have an x and a y? Okay, what is the ordered pair then? 7, 2. Now, I know none of you are ever going to do this, but that's why I didn't bother to number it, because none of you will ever bother. Check if required. Should that if required be there? No, it should say check. And there should be a number 5 there. But since none of you are ever going to bother, I'm only putting it in there optionally. How do you check it? What is that? X. What is that? Y. What is that? What is that? Y. X is 7. Y is 2. 7 minus 8. Does that equal negative 1? Yep. 3 times 7 is 21. 5 times 2 is 10. Is 21 plus 10 31? Yep. So did we do it right? Yep. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Nothing you don't know how to do. You probably all could have done that just from reading the instructions. So let's try it. Step 1 we do in black. Which letter should, or which equation should we work with here? Equation 1 or equation 2?
1.
Why?
Y is out.
Because y is already alone. So y equals, what do I have to do with that 2? Move it over. So 3 minus 2x. Is everyone happy with that? Does anybody not understand what I just did? Great. Step 2, we did in red, which is take your new equation and substitute it into the second equation. If y equals that, and there's a y, what am I writing here? Four x plus 3 bracket 3 minus 2x equals what? 1. Then I solve it. Solve that by getting rid of the brackets. Can everybody do that? You're probably not doing that as fast as I am, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. Once I know that, what do I do with this value? Take it back up because I'm missing an x. Right? So y equals 3 minus 2, not x, but 4. So y equals 3 minus 8, which is negative 5. What is my ordered pair? 4, negative 5. And then I check. What's 2 times 4? 8. Minus 5? 3. Are we correct? Yes. What's 4 times 4? What's 3 times negative 5? Is 16 minus 15, 1. So are we right? Yes. Any questions? Now, turn the page over because 233 has something that's tricky. What about this is yucky? You have to do more algebra to isolate, don't you? Okay, so Aiden is saying that because there is no single letter here, we have to do more algebra. And he's saying because we have to do more algebra, 2 things are going to have to be divided, which might leave you with a fraction, yes? So if you pay attention and you know where you're going and you know what you're going to divide by, you can save yourself some worry later on. But I'm going to offer you one more piece of advice. What do you see there and there? They're the same. So, does 4x equal 2 minus 5y from this equation? Everyone agree? Well, if 4x equals that, what do you see right there? So what can I write there instead of 4x? 2 minus 5y minus 20y equals negative 3. Does everybody see what I did there? Did I have to isolate? No, because they were the same thing. Does everybody see that? Now, that's pretty easy to do. 2 minus 25y equals negative 3. Negative 25y equals negative 5. y equals 1/5. Everybody cool? Now, what can I do once I have that? Where should it go? I shouldn't say where should it go. Where can it go? Anywhere I see a letter Y. I would probably put it right there because I know that 5 is going to get rid of that fraction, isn't it? So I would have 4x equals 2 minus 5 times 1/5. Right? What is 5 times 1/5? 1. So 2 minus 1, which is what? 1. 4x equals 1, and x equals 1/4. So what's my ordered pair? 1/4, 1/5. Now this is an example of a system that would be a pain in the butt to solve with graphing, wouldn't it? So that's why these methods exist. But it's easy to check. 4 times 1/4 is 1. 5 times 1/5 is 1. Is 1 plus 1 2? Yep. 4 times 1/4 is 1. 20 times 1/5 is 4. Is 1 minus 4 negative 3? Yep. So we did it right. Is everybody good? Yeah? Okay. I'm done. So, listen up. The next page in your book should be 234. And I have my copy right here. 234. And then you should have a puzzle sheet. My puzzle sheet is slightly cut off. I don't have all the letters up here, but you guys do. So your job today is page 234 and 235. Okay? Now, I will finish